Welcome back, continuing the news. It should be quick and cheap, and it's everywhere. The sizzle is familiar and the speed is comforting when it comes to fast food meals, which has created convenience locally. But the bill doesn't always come at the counter. Now, TVJ News contacted major fast food franchise operators for a comment, but received no response up to news time. Nakinsky Robinson has this primetime news special report, Bite Now, Pay Later.
Fast food in Jamaica isn't just growing, it's accelerating. From new branches, new franchises, new drive-thrus, and crowds that just don't seem to slow down. But behind the boom, there's a growing question. Yeah? While we're expanding fast food, are we quietly expanding something else? Or national health bill?
It's built for speed, but when it comes to our health, the brakes may be failing.
Where the issue comes in is that most of these foods, they have a high caloric content and they're high in nutrients of concern, which are your unhealthy fats, your saturated fats and trans fats, added sugars and salt or sodium.
Since the 1970s, Jamaica has seen a surge in international quick service restaurants. It's a growing fast food congregation as new international entrants are steadily adding their names to the local roll. On the surface, the boom is beneficial.
So employment is one, the income is another one, access to quick food service, and then because that is international, you are seeing it on the investment side.
While government earnings through taxes and fees are not widely available, as these companies are privately owned, it is estimated to be in the billions. But at what cost?
When you look at the data in the Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey, which was done 2016 to 2017 and published in 2018, we found that 1 in 2 Jamaicans aged 15 or older are overweight and or obese. 1 in 3 persons, or about 33% of the population, is living with hypertension. 1 in 8 is living with diabetes. And of greater concern is that 1 in 4 are even unaware that they are living with hypertension or diabetes.
The study also found that those NCD rates were highly attributed to unhealthy eating patterns. Now, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in that subsector of restaurants, U.S. fast food franchises comprise 50% of the local market.
The more urbanized we get, it's the more likely that persons are to actually go and purchase food overall instead of cooking food at home.
For many, fast food is no longer a Saturday treat. It's a lifestyle. Social media, convenience, and low-effort meals have shifted the nation's taste.
Yeah, there's a demand. And it helps, but especially for some of us who work and you know, when you stay at work late, going to cook is really like a no-no. So,
but the convenience of it makes it readily available for you to just indulge. You know, probably take an hour or two to cook something, right? Properly.
But the effects don't clock out. This versus this. One takes time, the other minutes. At the time of airing, we counted more than 250 fast food restaurants in the country. After eating these meals, you're filled with energy. But it only lasts for a very short time. You're hungry much sooner, and then you have to eat again. The Food and Agriculture Organization says that 20 to 50% of the products used in fast food are imported. But economists argue the long-term cost of diet-related diseases outweighs the revenue.
On the NCD side, what you have is an increase in overall costs to the system, as well as an increase in cost to the individual themselves. Because it would have an overall healthcare impact, it would increase the cost of insurance premiums. So the insurance companies are going to come in and say, okay, we have more and more persons who are getting these lifestyle diseases earlier, and we're having to foot the cost to pay for the medications. So that means that because this group is more unhealthy, then we're going to increase the premiums.
And even with adjustments to local menus to offer whole foods and vegetables, Rosanna Pike, Advocacy Officer for the Global Health Advocacy Project at the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, says it is still best to prepare meals at home.
You have control over what you are putting in the family pot or your, single pot right there. So you can gauge how much fat, how much salt, how much sugar, right? And you can gauge, how much vegetables, staples, whole staples you can afford.
And in the face of the boom, healthy but comparatively pricier options have been popping up. But with smaller portions, it's hammering home that it pays to be healthy.
Fast food may be filling the stomachs of Jamaicans, but healthcare professionals say the true impact isn't measured in store openings. No, it shows up years later in prescription lists and hospital wards.
In 2020, NCDs accounted for 77.3% or 17,180 deaths in Jamaica, according to data from the Population Health Status Report 2024. The third Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey from 2016 to 2017 shows that 7.8% of Jamaicans report consuming fast food at least once a day, and the cost to treat them runs into billions every year.
In excess of $10 billion to treat with NCDs, lifestyle-related diseases, the hypertension, the diabetes, the cardiovascular disease. It is projected, however, to almost double over the next 10 to 15 years based on the current trajectory. So we are projecting, based on studies that have done, that it could get to $17-18 billion per year based on early onset of illness from the young right through.
The World Health Organization estimates that about 69% of all deaths in Jamaica are caused by NCDs, which include cardiovascular diseases. Now, the Health Ministry says consumption of trans fats raises bad cholesterol levels, which increases the risk for heart diseases. Dr. Tufton says the government is now working to eliminate trans fats in the local diet. But Dr. Ahmed Solomon Hegazi, cardiologist at the Heart Institute of the Caribbean, says he's already seeing many Jamaicans presenting with heart attacks.
Definitely there's an increase in the heart attacks, especially with aging population, and that you can see it either here in Kingston and the big cities like Montego Bay and so on, but you can see it like for an extra extent in rural areas.
Are we building economic convenience or a future health crisis? Health officials say Jamaica must consider this question for every new franchise. Dialysis alone costs hundreds of thousands per patient annually. But when added to lost productivity, sick days, and long-term complications, the franchise boom may be fueling health costs the country can't afford.
So say, for instance, if you are getting sick more often, then you eventually take more sick days, which means less time at work, which means less productivity for you as an individual, less productivity at work, which would then lead to less productivity for the company and the country overall.
The Ministry of Health tells the TVJ News that non-communicable diseases are projected to cost Jamaica approximately $17.2 billion in lost productivity over the next 15 years.
It's so important that we link human capital development to health and healthy living, which is why we have to do programs at the very onset of pre-birth, the expectant mother, and how she treats with herself.
For prevention, the ministry has been pushing the school nutrition policy, which establishes food standards in schools and reduces exposure to unhealthy diets. However, while the policy awaits implementation, a concerning trend that has been noted in recent years is where fast food restaurants have replaced the typical cook shop canteen setup in some schools.
That policy is now almost a reality. Cabinet has signed off on the approach. What we need to do now is to develop the programs in the schools to support healthy eating. What that will mean for providers of foods to students in schools on the compound is that they will have to adjust their menu.
As for the returns on life,
studies like the PAHO NCD investment case shows that, the return on investment is estimated at about 77.1 billion Jamaican dollars between 2017 to 2032, about 5,700 lives being saved, and we're restoring over 67,000 healthy life years.
I met with the minister again, and he admits that fast food means big bucks for the economy. But when asked if Jamaica's heartburns could be soothed by restricting certain types of food in the free market model, he gave this response.
Right. I'm always cautious about depriving persons of choice. I'd rather say to the industry and to those that are seeking to establish the aspects of the industry here, that they should see their role not just as getting consumers to buy into what they're offering, but also demonstrating good corporate social responsibility and giving consumers choices that includes a healthy option or a healthier option.
Mr. Mortley believes there are more gains from the fast food industry locally, but he agrees that there is need for a middle ground.
What kind of standards is government going to impose on these companies to say, can you make your products healthier? Can you provide less sweet drinks? Can you reduce the salt content in the formulas? Can you reduce, let's say, the amount of added salt you add on fries, for example? How can you make what you are providing healthy?
In a country where NCDs already claim thousands of lives each year, the price of convenience may be more than Jamaica has bargained for. 2 buildings, 2 choices. One offers convenience and the other treats the consequences tomorrow. Nakinski Robinson for TVJ News.